Hey, what is up guys, Bongonzo here. So I've had a lot of questions from you guys about how do I mix my beats in Cakewalk with Bandlab. So I want to take you step by step on everything I do when I mix my beats. Okay, so I'm going to go right straight from the beginning, like everything I do. Let's get into it. Okay, so I made this beat quite a while back and we're going to mix it today. I want to clarify first that I intentionally made this bad in order to have a lot of things to mix. So let's just listen to it and figure out what we can do to fix this. Basically, my strategy is I make a beat and I'll spend as long as I need to make the beat, and then I'll arrange my beat and then I'll maybe mix it a little bit, but I'm not going to be doing any official mixing or official exporting until like a couple hours later, or usually a couple days later, when I want to spend a dedicated time to just mix it. I don't recommend you making a beat, mixing it, and then exporting it in all in one sitting. But I just think you get better ideas and more accurate results when you spend a little time between your making process and your mixing process. So the first thing I always do is I always go to the drop and I'll just go select those 4 bars, hit Shift L on your keyboard, and that will make a selection. So now if we listen to this, there are a couple things that stand out that are really bad, like especially the 808. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you step by step, just everything that sounds important. So the most important thing is probably the melody, and then some of the percussion instruments like the 808s and the kicks. So let's first go to the melody, find out if the melody is all good, and then after the melody is good, we move on to the drums. I mean, those are good. We can keep going. Because this little bell sound goes throughout the entire thing, and I think it's way, way, way too loud. So I'm going to take it down quite a bit. I also think there's quite a bit of low end in that sound compared to like the chords. I want to make it so that the note is a lot higher. So maybe I can open up an EQ. So what I did there was I cut out all the muddy low end of the sound so that there's more space for the chords. But if you listen to this bell now, the bell sounds really, really trash now. You can barely even tell like what the sound is supposed to be. So that's going to be the first tip of the video, and probably the most important tip of the whole entire video. Listen to me here when I say don't fix a sound, replace a sound. Okay, so I'm going to go through this sound and I'm going to see if I can find a good pluck that will sound better in this place. Oh, there we go. I was considering at first doing the raindrops pluck, but now we're gonna do the soft pluck. Sounds like this. Okay, so now let's go on to this next sound. Okay, so now we finished the melodies, and now we're gonna go into the 808. And the 808 is very important. That's why I'm doing it next. I always go from most important to least important. That 808 just sounds very, very, very muddy. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to try to replace the sound with something with a little bit more distortion. Now you might need to do some trial and error because you don't necessarily know what 808 to use. I'm going to try to use this one. I think that 808 sounds just perfect, but if we listen to it with this chord, super duper muddy. So now let's go into this chord and see if cutting the low end would help. If we were to try to make room for the low end, we'd end up putting a high pass filter all the way up to about 300 hertz, and that sounds very, very trash. So what we've got to do is we got to replace the sound with a sound that doesn't have as many low pitches in it. Okay, I replaced the sound and did a little bit of an EQ curve, and here's what it sounds like now. And that's not too muddy. Now let's listen to all the other instruments so we know that everything fits together. let's bring in the kick, because the kick is also one of the most important instruments. I think this kick is a little too flat. I'm gonna try replacing the kick. Okay, so that's what we got with the kick, and the kick sounds very punchy and just right. But I think the low end of the kick and the low end of the 808 are kind of clashing a little bit, which is another thing. I think that people should be using sidechain. Some people don't like sidechain, but I do like sidechain, so I'm gonna bring in a compressor doing sidechain. Let's hear this. That sounded good. Okay, so I just soloed in the clap, and the clap sounds so weak. I mean, it's a pretty classic clap, but I think we need more of a hard-hitting snare. There you go, that's the clap I want to use. Let's turn down a little bit. And why don't we add reverb too? That's just perfect. Now let's add in the hi-hats. The first thing I see is that they are already way, way too loud. Let's turn them way down. Let's choose a new hi-hat. I think this one's a little bit too soft. Okay, so now I don't have any like favorites for my perks, so I just go like down one by one with the perks. Here's how they sound. I'm not a big fan of that sound. So I changed the perk and I add delay onto it. Now let's go into this perk. Way too many perks, and I did this on purpose. I intentionally made there way too many perks. It just doesn't have any groove at all to it. It's just too much. So I just delete half of those. I'm also going to turn the perk down. It's pretty good. This like bongo kind of sounding perk isn't bad, but it's not the best. I'm kind of liking the crisp sounds that all the other ones have, and this one just kind of sounds a little too flat for it. So let's get a crisper sound in. And that little boop, it really fits in the mood really well. All the other perks are kind of chill, but also kind of crisp. And that one just smooths in right in with the melody. And I guess I didn't explicitly mention this, but I really want you to realize that sound selection is key. Getting good sounds is going to help you in the long run, way more than just like EQing things just right. Now let's bring in these hi-hat rolls. I'm only turning up because I want to hear them better. I think I want to have a panner on them. I think I want to cut out some low end on those. Last perk. I think I want to add just a tiny bit of reverb to this. Okay, Okay, so and just like that, we have our very first mix done. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna listen to only the drums. So nothing stands out with me on the drums. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna solo all the melodies. Let's listen to the melodies. I'm just gonna keep bringing things in until something stops us and makes us want to change something. Okay, so now all of our sounds are leveled nicely, and for the most part, things are sounding clean together. At this point, I have no problem with you going onto your master channel and just finding sounds that could be tweaked and just like cutting them out. Still a little bit of muddiness in the mix with the 808. So I think I'm gonna go is I'm gonna move all of my melodies to one bus, which I've already done, and I'm gonna add an EQ, which is gonna be the Nova, TDR Nova EQ. This is like the most popular EQ that's free. If you don't have this EQ, I think you should get it. Let's see how this is gonna help our muddiness. Is I'm gonna turn on sidechaining here. I'm gonna change this internal sidechain to external sidechain, and then we're gonna click on the 808 channel and send our 808 in this little plus button send stuff to TDR Nova Melody. And then on this graphical thing, we can see our 808. So now turn on threshold here. And then just like that, it's cutting out the low end of the melody every time the 808 plays. And then why don't we turn down the attack quite a bit, and we might as well turn up the release a little bit so that it stays cutting longer. Now on top of that, your melody probably shouldn't have anything below 50 hertz like ever. So why don't we just bring this high cut around here and just like that. And just like that, the melody's super duper clean with the 808. Things are sounding good. I do want to change this 808 though, because it doesn't really have enough low end for me. So I'm going to change that out. Okay, right on the master channel, I put a TDR Nova again, and it's not sidechaining or anything yet. It's just doing a dynamic equalizer kind of thing. So whenever the frequencies get loud in that area, it just cuts down a little bit of the muddiness. And a lot of people don't think you should put an EQ on your master channel, but I mean, there's a lot of professionals who do that. And I just recommend like 100%, if it makes your song sound better, then do it. I can see why some people might say that you should put your EQs on a whole bunch of tracks and you should never put an EQ on your master channel. But if it makes your song sound better, just do it. Go for it. I just put a clipper on my master channel. It sounds like this. What I want to do is I want to put a sidechaining from the kick to the melody so that the clipping on the master channel sounds better. Then I'm going to do the most important step of all, which is listening to your song. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to close out of Cakewalk. and I want you to just look at a blank screen and listen to your beat, and if anything stands out to you, you got to fix that. Okay, so I'm gonna push play here, and I'm just gonna turn off my screen. So I'm just looking at a blank screen, and I'm listening to the beat. I think there's too much low end in the I think there's too much low end in the snare. I think there's too much low end in the snare. Okay, so this is gonna sound a little weird because it's kind of late in the mixing process, but if you have the gut feeling to do it, just do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of the melody instruments, process, transpose 1. Let's listen to that. Yeah, that sounds better. Let's transpose all things up by 1. If this video was helpful for you guys, let me know in the comment section. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section. I'll see you guys next week, Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday. Just keep creating. Woo!